Hey everybody, Amy here with Garden Up. Today I'm going to show you everything you need to know about pruning your roses in the spring. This is the detailed video. I also have a short version of this video. Check that out on my channel. So this is something we do as the weather warms. Late March, early April is the best time to start doing this. Tools you'll need. You'll need something to take off your cover. So rakes, claws, something like that. Then you'll need cutters. Hand pruners and loppers are usually enough for this. Occasionally you might need some kind of a pruning saw, but that's not too frequent. So this pruning technique I'm about to show you is good on floribundas, hybrid teas, and other similar fancy roses like that. You don't really necessarily need to hard prune carpet roses. You don't do anything for mini roses, and climbing roses have a totally different technique, so do not do this on your climbers. Step one, remove your winter cover. Next step, take your claw or hori-hori or whatever digging tool you have and uncover your compost that was here for the winter. You're going to make it into a moat, and the reason for the moat is so that you can put your fertilizer in here, which I will also show you. But you want to get all of this off of the crown so that the rose doesn't rot. So on this particular rose, this is my graft right here. All of these branches are the desirable rose that we want, but they're grafted onto a stronger rootstock. If you see something like this, where there's a stalk coming up from the roots, this is reverting. The roots are trying to grow a new plant. You don't want that because the roots are usually a strong, hardy rose that doesn't have much of a flower. Okay, so I'm gonna get right down in there. Oh yeah, I cut this off last year and it's coming back. So I gotta go farther down. I'm still putting cutting blade down because I don't want to crush my desirable plant. Okay, and there were a couple more over here that were just starting, but they're popping off with, see that there, same thing. Take that off. So now I'm going to start pruning. This is the part that feels a little painful and heartbreaking, but it really is okay. You're going to take a lot of this growth down. You want to go to the strong canes and find good strong nodes. I'm going to take it down a little slower than you probably would. Remember to look for a node that's coming out. You don't want to cut at a node that's growing in, or you'll get a bunch of crossing branches in the middle. You don't want that. Also remember, every time you cut, put your cutting blade down towards the part of the plant you want to keep. Never flip your pruners over like this because you'll crush the part of the plant you want to keep. You don't want to do that. Lastly, the angle you want to cut at. You're going to always cut at a 45-degree angle, about 1/4 to 1/2 inch above the node, with the high part of the angle being right above where the node is. You don't want to go too high or you'll leave a stub that dies and leaves the rose open for disease. And you don't want to cut too low or you'll actually cut off the nutrient supply to that bud. The first thing you take out is dead, dying, and diseased tissue. And then you take out crossing and other damaged, potentially crossing branches. And then you start pruning for aesthetics. And it's gonna look brutal. It's okay. Your rose will be happier for it. So there's a lot of branching and gnarly growth there. I'm gonna take that out. I'm gonna go down this far for now. The other tool most people use that I don't is gloves. I have them in case I need them, but I don't usually use gloves for pruning roses. Okay, there's a bud back here. It's a good strong one. It's not growing yet, but I want this to come in and grow. This guy right here, see that little hole? That's rose weevil. It's a little bug that crawls in there and lays its eggs and its maggots grow, and whatnot, so I'm going to take that piece off. They're already hatched and out by now. But
they don't need to come back.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to take this off as well, because if there is a bug in here, I want it gone. There's quite a bit of damage here on this branch and under the tag. This is pretty strong though. Let's start with this. Okay, so what you're trying to do is take off all this little piddly growth, because this kind of stuff takes a lot of energy from the plant and it doesn't usually turn into much. So like this that's already a branch, there's a strong node here. I'm going to leave that. This little guy can come off, and this one, because they're just tiny little branches. But you'll be able to see the difference after you prune your rose. There's some damage here, lots of branching I'm going to take off, damage here, so this guy's coming all the way down to there.
So this has good stuff coming off it, but
this is a good strong one.
Yeah.
I would like to cut it this high, but look how awkward and weird that is. So now I'm going to actually take it down a little farther, because now it's a nice uniform shape. This one's all right, it's stocky enough. I'm going to go ahead and leave that. But what you're really looking for is these good strong canes with lots and lots of buds. And you'll have roses sometimes that you may only get one good bud on the cane, but that's all you've got, so you're going to go with it. Just get the rest of the compost out of there, get the rest of the dead stuff out of there. Now that I can really get in here, I can see, oh, it's dead growth. The last thing you want to do is disinfect your tools, and you want to do this between each rose. The reason for doing this is so that you don't transmit or vector a disease from one rose to another one. So some good disinfectants are, just get an alcohol wipe, that works. I've heard that bleach works really well without rusting your tools. I've always just used rubbing alcohol, but I've also learned and heard that that tends to rust your pruners, so you may not want to do that. But always disinfect between each rose. So it's been a few weeks since I shot those last clips. I normally fertilize right after pruning at the same time, same day, but this year I just got a little busy and I just haven't gotten around to fertilizing my own roses. But you can see how much growth the roses have put on in just a couple of weeks. It's very happy. It also has several more suckers from the roots, and that's probably because without the fertilizer, the roots are exposed, and so all that airflow is encouraging new growth from down below, I think. I could be wrong on that, but that's my assumption. I took most of them off, but I'm gonna fertilize today. So what I fertilize my roses with is 3 things. I put on manure, I put on rose food, and I put on Epsom salt. And each one for different reasons. Manure is one of the best foods for roses. They absolutely love it. It's a very natural and whole, complete fertilizer. And it's natural, straight out of a steer's bum. And then rose food, let's see, what are we using this year? Lily Miller is what I got this year. I've used several brands in the past, but this is a pretty good one. And Epsom salt is just really good fertilizer for all plants, but roses especially love it. It makes the blooms brighter, it makes the plant healthier. It's a really good fertilizer to add to your spring mix. I only put it on once a year though. So, as far as how much, this is for an average sized rose. So the fertilizer amounts that I use for an average sized rose are about 1 shovelful of steer manure. Then I add about 1 cup of rose food and about a tablespoon, which is about a palmful, of Epsom salts. Just throw them all into the moat and then just mix them together. Again, this is for an average sized rose. If you have a big rose, you're going to want to use more fertilizer, and if you have a little tiny one, probably use less. But for your average size hybrid teas and floribundas and things of that nature, this is about what the amounts you want to use. Thanks for watching this video, I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this and got some value out of it, let me know by hitting the like button and leaving a comment below. Also, remember to subscribe if you'd like to get more content like this. Thanks so much, have a great day, and I'll see you in the garden.